Hey guys, this is Dardomos of Dardomos Dominions. I'm here with Gazlov. Say hi, Gazlov.
How's it going?
Missourian, how are you doing, dude?
Good.
And we have Nosy.
Hello, hello.
And Novell, welcome back. It's been a while, dude.
Yeah, happy to be here finally.
Novell, I do believe this stale turn is all your fault completely. So what is our job as an omniscience player? That's my question. What are we supposed to do as an omniscience player? What is our responsibilities?
Okay, well, the most basic of which is that when the turn rolls, we hop in and end the turn because the omniscience mod, which allows us to view all that you are seeing here for these videos, interacts by us being a player. And we're supposed to catch hold of this as soon as it rolls and just go in and end the turn. We can also look at these things, but we'll save them and be able to look back at them later. And it just keeps the game flowing smoothly. In this one instance, of course, we forgot, and so it had to time out naturally.
So we forgot to push one button and push us forward. So I
think occasionally ball and set the timer to 1 minute to get the turns rolling.
Oh, I think you might be right on that regards. Okay, so Marverni has once again started going behind Yomi's back and has been looking for an alliance against Yomi. Pan, were you involved with this alliance against Yomi at all?
Involved with an alliance against... Sorry?
Against Yomi. Did Marverni come up and talk to you about this?
No, not that I recall, but that was a little while ago. I don't believe I ever had any plans to attack Yomi, and I don't think I'd discussed anything with him about doing so. The message that he's got here was for Helheim.
Now, we aborted the first attempt at this video due to some sound issues, so I'm really glad that Nosy, you're joining us with this one. You're creating a fort inside of a forest. How does that work?
No, the message here is about hard building a palisade.
Oh, really? Okay. What's the difference?
Well, EA Pan can only build palisades naturally, but have the ability to grow forts in forests. I, of course, didn't have a forest anywhere near my capital. The nearest one was 3 tiles away, and it's the only one within 3 tiles of my capital. So I needed to hard build a palisade somewhere nearby just to get forts happening.
Excellent. How much do you think, like, do you suggest that you should build forts regularly as Pan, or should you be exclusively with forests?
That very much depends on how many forests you get. Obviously, you need to put palisades on any thrones that aren't on forests already. If I had multiple forests within my natural expansion area, I would likely have largely used those and possibly still put a palisade somewhere depending on how much gold I had. But I'm not sure what's optimal there. The main thing is I needed to get forts happening, and I didn't have a forest to jumpstart the research and mage production.
Excellent. Oh, wait, hold on. You said, hold on, I missed something. The other to an infernal plane on turn 3, what happened?
Oh, yeah. I had some events, which I think you can actually see the event history if you go to my capital and press I.
There we go.
So on the first turn...
yeah, one of your mages.
Demon worship, and then the very next turn, my first recruited mage got banished to Inferno. There was a message about it at the time, which I think we did cover in a previous episode.
Okay, a little bit of a spoiler. Does he ever come back?
He gets killed.
Oh, that's sad. Have you ever had one come back?
I mean, it has happened before, but not from that specific event. And when they do come back, you don't know where they're going to come back. And I haven't had one come back safely before, I don't think.
Novell. I was going to ask you, dude, have you ever had it? Wait, what? Your pretender got tossed into Infernals?
Okay, it happens. It happens quite often because you remember that when I play a pop kill, I take Misfortune 3,
Okay.
and my pretender is always awake at the very beginning of the game. So it is very likely that one of the things that's going to happen, especially because I don't use a lot of mages as pop kill nations, is that one of my pretenders gets hit with this event. And so, yes, my pretender has multiple times been sent into Inferno, and I've had to wait for him to come back. And it can take a long time because it's only like a 10% chance every turn for him to come back. And he'll sit there and he'll kill anything that comes near him because he has my, stupid meme Hell Bless on him. But he's just going the entire time. The bless is still active, by the way. It stays, it's in the game. Nothing stops it from playing as long as he's still alive. But he doesn't auto bless in the Inferno, so he doesn't have the blessing on himself. He's just that strong.
So you're saying his awake blessings are still, or incarnate blessings are still active even if he's in the Inferno.
Yes, even if he's in a different plane, as long as he is alive, his blessings are still active. So I just proceeded to play Erebor as I normally do, with him gone for like 2 years.
And when he comes back, does he come back someplace random or does he come back where he started?
Completely random. I've had him land on an enemy army before. Yeah, he comes back random, landed on an enemy army, killed the army. I built a lab in that province and then teleported them back home.
Missouri, have you ever had this happen in a multiplayer game?
I have not. I am scared of misfortune. I don't like opening turns with misfortune, so very little experience with that kind of thing.
That is hilarious. Gazlov, have you? What's your with the infernal planes? What has anything happened with you?
I've had guys sent to their infernal planes, but I don't know if it was from events. I can't recall. I usually don't play more than Misfortune 2. I don't know if you can get that event with anything better than Misfortune 3.
I've gotten it before with Ulm, and I don't think I had Misfortune 3. I thought I actually had good scales, but I it's been forever ago. I picked up blood, so that the smith had got blood, and I got so excited. So I'm searching for him everywhere because I've never seen the event before, and I couldn't find him. And I started realizing he got sent back. And oh my goodness, if I could have broken into blood with M.A. Ulm, it would have been wonderful. But unfortunately, I think he came back on a random province and splatted. So yeah, not a good event. Let's move forward. Oh my goodness. Okay, TLDR. Ubar Nap 3 with you, Nosy. Back to you. What was happening between you and Ubar?
He was concerned that I was going to rush him, which was very good instincts on his part. But if he saw my bless, then he wouldn't have needed good instincts. So basically, I tried to fob him off and said that, look, I can assure you I'm not going to be attacking you before turn 12. I want a few turns to suss out the situation. We can revisit turn 12. So check in and go from there.
That's funny.
I need a couple turns to do what?
Well, to wait for their god to appear. You should just attack Ubar before then. It's like, oh, I'm worried about getting rushed by Ubar in year 1. I'm like, that's the time in which Ubar is probably least capable of rushing you.
Okay, so you are down here.
I wasn't worried about Ubar rushing me. No.
Do you think that is that your plan right now? Are you going to be attacking him?
Well, what I would have liked to have been able to do is push into Arco where all those forests are. But as I've mentioned on a previous episode, I got the intel on what his god would be, and a bronze colossus is not the easiest thing to deal with until you get a little bit of research. So either smashes or something else like shatter or something for Pan.
Okay. By the way, it's actually pretty easy. Just put 3 GSSs on one of your with a Kithronic, and they'll just slice them up.
Yeah, it's not as cut and dry as you might think. The Colossus has some nasty spells that it casts within it, caster.
Okay, what spells are you worried about?
Well, any of the evocation ones. There's Burning Hands and the Shocking Grasp. No, that's not Shockwave.
Okay.
But also Hands of Death. There's lots of things that it can cast, and one of the other things that concerned me about it is when it was casting Astral Shield, which although Pans have very good MR, it's still a chance to paralyze them, and then they're dead.
I'd like to test that because I'm pretty sure you get about 10 white centaurs, three GSS Hierophants with a Chithoronic lion pelt, and I'm curious if you can go and do
Well,
that.
what I wanted to do was actually do a seduction with a dryad kitted to take care of it, because I didn't want to commit the white centaurs, because the white centaurs would just die.
I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
Can you seduce it? It's mindless.
Yeah, and it creates an assassination battle.
Okay, so it just goes straight to the assassination fight.
Correct.
And what would you gear it with?
Smasher 1 or 2, either Pendant of Luck or the Mistletoe Garland,
Okay.
to make it significantly less likely that they get killed. And the nice thing about that is that the Colossus can't self-buff himself with Astral Shield with this mod on, the casting mod. It's no script for the defender, and it'll do evocations or summon skeletons.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The AI mod I'm finding is kind of it's a two-edged sword of sorts. Where they don't Gazlov, can you like sum us up with what happens with this AI mod?
Well, I think it's mostly designed to improve assassination battles with mages. Instead of going through a bunch of useless self buffs, they go straight to things that can kill the enemy. And I think, and I don't know if Lucid has changed it or not, but I think sometimes you want the self buffs. I mean, especially with Earth mages.
Especially with Pan.
Yeah, so the original problem was with the base AI, your caster would go for low fatigue, self-targeting spells and allow the thing that had, the poison 35 weapon or whatever else to approach it and get that hit off on it and kill it that way. But when you're assassinating super combatants, especially Earth 1 super combatants, you kind of want that super combatant to cast Temper Flesh. You kind of want the Astral one to cast Astral Shield. You don't want it to just do what might be best in a normal battle. You want it to protect itself and then let the battle go forward. Because there are many battles that could be won in assassinations by a Astral Mage casting Luck and Body Ethereal on itself, as opposed to just ramming out and trying to soul slay something with 20 freaking MR.
I agree.
A good rule of thumb is if it's a squishy human that is not wearing any gear, he probably wants to be casting evocations. If it's a big chunky thing with gear on, it probably wants self buffs.
Yeah, it's a toss up, and it makes it quite peculiar to deal with it.
My favorite is that they don't cast Blessing, and there are many. I don't care what your gear set or anything. Normally, you kind of want your Blessing on anything big.
Yeah, I mean, you could have blessings that are regeneration luck, and to not have that for that assassination battle is atrocious.
I think that I agree with the entire AI script, like not doing self buffs for the most part, but the not doing Blessing is kind of rough. So
it's not fine tuned. It's very broad in its perspective.
Yeah. Just one more quick thing on that. The problem with AI really is twofold. One, it really depends on the intention of the user, what you want your mages to be doing. I mean, if I'm trying to charm an SC, no matter what, I'm willing to accept high probability of my mages dying to try and get it, I can't tell the AI that. There's no way to script it, and there's no one-size-fits-all AI that's going to do that. The other problem is the AI, I don't think, treats groups of mages together. I think that's why I had in the old days, the death spammers doing terror or panic or whatever.
Yeah.
When you really want to do a horde of skeletons, and if you tell the AI these 5 or 10 mages are working together, then it could figure out oh, well, 10 hordes of skeletons, that's going to be really great. I should do that instead. So those are the two things that I think are missing from the AI.
What's I think of kind of an interesting thing, what you said was that if you have let's say that you have an assassination battle where, where Nosy says, and you have one of these nature 2 guys that is geared out to kill your guy, then you want him to be able to self-buff. Well, what happens if you take the same mage and you've got him with pen gear and you're trying to charm? Well, in that case, you just want the super combatant to charge forward as fast as you possibly can and kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And
What
so,
you need is,
So
what you need is
there's
an
a lack of
interface that
adaptation.
says, I want this guy to be self-buffing. I want this guy to be supporting this squad or the squads under this commander, or I want to be shooting evos. You need to parameterize whatever that behavior is.
So what needs to be done, and it's something that we've kind of poked Illwinter about before, was just like how you can send commanders to do preset things like advance and cast spells or defend or stay behind troops, is that mages need to have a list of preset behaviors that they can choose from. Battlefield support, battle mage, which would be self-buffing, crowd control, which would be charming, and things like panic. And if you default your mages to one of those settings, that's the most likely behavior they're going to take in battle. And if you could do that, it works for both assassinations and when they go off script in actual battles.
yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. I'm curious if we'll see, because I know that I've heard that Dominion 6 is at least a twinkle in their eye. I'm kind of curious if scripting ends up changing in the next iteration.
I mean, they did a complete evolution between 4 and 5.
Did it? Okay, I was going to ask you, did you, between 4 and 5, what has changed? Because I've only played 5.
Well, units actually move in 5. Like, to describe the difference between 4 and 5 would take more time than we have in this video. Let us say that because unit movement and spell cast occur in real time, several mechanics have changed, and so has the importance of scripting. Like trample, for instance, is quite different than it was in Dominions 4.
Okay, so let's move on to the message from Van Gazlov. Why don't you go over this one?
Oh, yeah, so Yomi ended up moving into a province that I was taking, and I think I ended up killing that group. But when I got there, I didn't see any connecting provinces owned by Yomi. And so I couldn't figure out how he even got there.
That was in this province right here.
Yeah, that's right. And so I don't know how he got there.
I'm really looking forward to see how you have just a small number of Vanheers here, because if I remember correct, there's a nice sized chunk of army here. So, okay, Helheim. Oh, nice. Okay, we got a TLDR from Schumann. Okay, I'm sorry, I've not been keeping track of who's been talking. Missourian, let's give me the TLDR on this one.
Finishing expansion this turn, theoretically, then sneak time into Maverny, I suppose. Site searching ongoing. Skullmentor Factory will start soon. Trading with Arco to be able to forge hammer, as I'm still lacking in gems.
Nosy, question for you. How often do you go Skull Mentors?
Almost never, personally.
See, that's why I'm asking the question, because it's so unusual for me. Why do you think he did?
Well, I understand he had a very heavy research focus on his Helheim build. I personally think that I'd go with Quills exclusively for that, but he's wanting to get a big research lead and hopefully capitalize on that.
Missourian,
probably not what I'd do, but that's his strategy and he's sticking to it.
Yeah, Missourian, what is the? I mean, the Skull Mentors have one of the highest research points there are out there. Why is there such a aversion to making Skull Mentors?
Well, 10 death gems, and you're not going to get, from a standpoint percentage-wise, much of discount with hammers. And the priority that you have to spend your death gems on for other things just makes them too expensive generally. I know from talking to Showman about this, he was following Ball's old guide about Helheim, which goes all the way back to like Dom 3 or something like that. But he's got some fantastic guides. Even the old ones are still worth reading. And he had one for Helheim that this research focus, I believe, that's where it came from.
Now, Novell, you're my Death Gem expert here. What is the worth? How often would you go with Skull Mentors?
Okay, so for Pop Kill, which is the primary source of plenty Def Gems, because they're the only ones that you have to understand. The problem with Def Gems is this: every other gem, including Blood, has a quicker way of accessing a multiplicative income than any other source. So, like for instance, you can start things like Stellar Focus, Earthblood Deepwell, Eternal Pyre, and start generating such massive quantities of extra gems that converting them into something like a research booster is pretty efficient. That is not true of Def Gems. In order to get extra Def Gems, you have to go up to Well of Misery, which is so far deep down that by the time you would use that to convert it into additional research, you're done researching. So they're really truly only meant for Pop Kill Nations, in my opinion. The problem is that they nerfed the amount of Def Gems that Pop Kill Nations get between Dominions 4 and Dominions 5, but they didn't rework Skull Mentor. So if you're lucky enough to get Earth on a Pop Kill Nation, which most Pop Kill Nations don't access Earth naturally, you bring it on your Pretender, basically. You can pop out a hammer, and then you can start making them for 8. And that is hands down better than any type of summonable research that Pop Kill Nations get, with the exception of Lemuria and Magic 3. So they're instantly valuable if you're basically talking about doubling your research potential as a Pop Kill Nation. The problem is what can I get for 8 to 10 Def Gems as a Pop Kill Nation? Well, there are a lot of better things. And this is the reason why you'll see people like Ball and comment on my games where they're like, why do you have no research? Well, it's because I turned all of these Def Gems I would have put into Skull Mentors, as well as wasting the research to get up to Construction 4, into just a massive amount of other things that allowed me to win the game, like Lictors.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think that when I get a Skull Mentor and a random event, it is my favorite item to get because I love the use of it, but I hate the cost of it.
Right, because you got to think about it. A lot of people are not going to get 10 Def Gems a turn in a game.
Yeah.
Not without site searching upwards of 10 provinces, because the most common Def Gem sites are Def Gem 1 producers, but require sometimes Def 3 to search, like Well of Pestilence. I'm like, that's Def Gems are hard to come by in the game just as is, especially if you're searching at Def 2. If you're searching at Def 4, which is what Pop Kill Nations tend to, go looking around with, or they're using the site search spell, which is not really recommended. But if you're doing it that way, you can potentially get enough Def Gems to say it's worth it to spend half of them making Skull Mentors. But once again, I've seen people finish games even with Def access on their mages and have absolutely abysmal Def income. Def income truly does belong to the Pop Kill Nations.
Now we're moving on to Ubar's message, and Ubar just got done with a terrible bump with Nosy. Nosy, I don't think you were with us last time when we went over your bump with Ubar, were you?
No, I wasn't here for the last episodes.
And one of the things that we talked about is that you both mutually agreed to bump at a province, and I kind of want to go back a turn in our heads. And you said that you guys agreed to meet in this province. It was an independent province. You said whoever got it, got it. Do you remember this?
I don't remember that particular detail, but it certainly happened in a number of games I've played.
Now, how do you do that, and does it cause bad blood?
Well, hasn't caused bad blood on my end, and to my knowledge, it hasn't caused bad blood with others.
It's really interesting because you need to watch the episode because we were all kind of talking about how it might cause some unhappiness.
It's just a game.
I mean, that is the correct answer, but that's not the common answer.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Well,
My
it's
wife says
like,
I don't
well,
play games, I study them
we
and I win
we
them.
we mutually decided that we wanted the province, and we didn't want to just hand it over without some kind of struggle. So we decided expansion parties would meet, and no hard feelings if you lose. And if you're confident in your party beating the other, then okay,
I,
go for it.
Nosy,
But I can't recall this particular situation, but that's the way it sometimes works out.
I really appreciate you as a player, and I wish there were more people like you, because the ability to do that, I mean, a lot of people, it's not just a game where we're very competitive as human beings, but at the same time, you're eyeing Ubar still, right?
Oh, they're very much on the cards, yeah.
But
So I think at this particular point in the game, actually, one of the reasons I was non-committal to the whole that side of things is because I knew Marverni was expanding like crazy, and given that, if there wasn't going to be anyone else addressing that issue, he was going to be my first war target, and that was absolutely on the cards. I wanted to make sure that Marverni was under control, but as it happened, I got wind that both Helheim and Vanheim were going to jump in on him, so I decided that that wasn't required anymore, and at that point I was comfortable going for Ubar.
Vanheim, Gethoff, were you planning on jumping on Ubar yourself at some point?
Yeah, that was my objective the minute I met him. Helheim had come to me and asked if we wanted to jointly invade him, and I agreed only because I was going to do that anyhow.
Ubar or Marverni?
Maverni, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, regarding Ubar, I don't know why he would have gotten the idea that I was going to attack him, because I
Yeah,
never.
Gethoff, you play so often as the elves that I don't think you know the other end. When you have a border with Vanheim, you expect them to attack you. It's that paranoia
Of being elfed.
Yeah, being elfed. So I definitely understand it. But you were going towards. You said you're going to hit Marverni, and this looks like. I mean, if I'm Vanheim, this looks delicious.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna see soon.
Yeah, we did get your. Okay, you didn't. You talked about Yomi, but you haven't talked about a direction that you're going in. And so you said you're talking with Helheim at this point, and you're going to be invading Marverni together. Who gets the cap?
Whoever gets there first.
What happens if
The thing is, I wasn't. So I don't really like teaming up with people, because I think even Nosy has made this comment before. When you team up with somebody, you're only empowering your next enemy. You know, they're going to get some of what should have belonged to you, and this is why I really don't like vultures. Like people who vulture my territory tend to be my next target. But in this case, I didn't really care, because he started the war before me. He got there first, but I did
Okay.
get to Maverni's. But whoever got to his capital first.
Okay, so whoever gets there. Now, this is another thing that's. I mean, what happens if you're here, he's here, and you're both planning on taking Marverni? Well, is there any like etiquette as to who gets the cap?
In my opinion, whoever fought the main army should be the one to get the capital.
Okay.
But
Well-
this is a game where you play to win, and if your so-called partner is weak, you might as well exploit it.
Missouri, and you had something else to add.
Did I?
Oh, okay. No, I get that. I thought I heard somebody say something, but
I do have.
Yeah,
oh,
it
no,
was-
okay, Nosy, I'm sorry.
I wasn't piping in before, but I do have one thing to add there. If you're in a situation where you're both potentially going for the capital, there are situations where I'm happy to back off from taking the capital in favor of preserving my troops and hopefully having the other player be the one that other nations are concerned about. Having said that, if I have claim for the capital that's very clear and comfortable, I'll definitely want to take it.
One of the things I do like about the idea of giving the other person a capital is that your border now borders one of their most, one of their best provinces. You've given them something of worth. You are threatening something of worth, and therefore they have less incentive to go to war with you because you're risking, border territory and they're risking a capital. And so the chances of you going to war, it feels like, are less by doing this. So it does seem like a good diplomatic move. That being said, a cap is a cap. This is, 400 gold. And I'm guessing if Helheim and Vanheim are attacking Marverny, this is not looking good for Marverny. Okay, moving into our territory, or into our fights. I fought this before, Nosy, and I don't believe that I won as handily as what you did here. Oh, it's in a desert, isn't it? Why are there cavemen in the desert? Nosy,
They can be in.
Go ahead, Abel.
They can be in highlands, mountains, wastelands, and caves.
Okay, thank you. Nosy, how dangerous is this when they're compared to caves?
Normally, compared to caves, for me,
Yes.
they're actually easier in caves
Why is that?
because I've got spirit sight.
Okay, but they have dark vision 50.
So they still cop a penalty of 1 to each of attack and defense, and I cop no penalty.
Okay, so spirit sight acts as 100% darkness vision,
Correct.
right? Oh wow. Okay.
You get no penalties from any level of darkness. It's what all undead have.
Of note, spirit sight and then the darkness 50. I think it's the nature 1 bless. Doubling up on that would be completely useless, wouldn't it?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Just
one
get the
idea
extra point
that
of
Hold
victory.
on, you can. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind.
What's that?
Nothing. I'm thinking.
Well, one idea that does happen with EA Ermor is to take spirit sight for their sacreds and drop darkness.
Okay. Let's see. I'm kind of curious if anything changed in this. Okay. How were you able to live through? Let's look at these dudes. They're 28 damage. They can literally. Oh, I guess they can't one shot you, can they?
Did they land a hit?
They did on one. I think that the guy that was wrapped around got hit. And then RNG's gonna RNG.
So it looks like one copped 1 hit, and they have 29 health.
Okay. Oh my goodness, 21 damage. Yeah, so just a lucky hit, I think. Okay.
Well, recall also that the Centauras can parry. They have a length 4 for their weapon now.
Yeah,
the cavemen weren't getting hits partly because of defense and even more so because of the repel mechanics.
Yeah, it looked like the repel was doing a good job on that one. Okay. Oh, we have a bump. Okay. What happened? What happened here, Nosy? Do you wanna? Were you expecting this, or?
No, I don't think I was expecting it. Having said that, I wasn't too afraid of bumping with the Dione. I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't kill him, but they did make him run.
Okay, Nosy. Note. Oh, did you end up winning this one?
I believe so.
Okay, so we've been having the glitch where it doesn't show the same. The battles are different than what the results in this are different. Now, I'm kind of curious. It's kind of, normally when you're watching a series, it's really a pain in the neck because you don't get to see the actual battle. But since we're analyzing it, it's kind of a little bit different because we can make a prediction as to, do you think he's gonna kill? Do you think your guys are gonna kill the Dione this time?
I would expect that they should, but I didn't test how well they do against the Dione. I would expect to take a little bit of attrition, but they should do enough damage that the Dione has a chance of dying.
Yeah, he's having a hard time hitting them.
The repel is really a big interference for him.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Right at the end. Okay, so once again, it looks like it was the same thing. He did have a bit of HP, but it looked like he was almost dead. You lost fewer than what the battle report said. It said you lost 2 and you
Yeah, I
only
lost
lost 1.
2 in the original one. Yep.
So kind of interesting how the dice rolls change from place to place. Does this make Yomi look like a delicious target?
No, I'm not interested in fighting Yomi, to be honest.
Are you thinking that with a good gear set that Yomi could absolutely annihilate as many white centaurs? Could Yomi defeat infinite white centaurs with the right gear set?
It would be still tricky because I can hit for like 30 damage on each. Well, probably Blood Surge won't trigger, but I can still hit for very high damage. But it's absolutely doable to tank them. But I have other tools that I'd use to fight a Dione.
Okay, what would he
Yeah.
need in order to tank infinite white centaurs?
He would just rely on magic. Banefire is a pretty strong answer to white centaurs. 55 armor piercing fire damage.
Well, if we're talking about being an SC, a lone SC against white centaurs and tanking them forever, he probably needs to have your Earth Power, Iron Skin, Legions of Steel on a Braces of Protection and Heavy Armor build. He has a Regen Bless, Temper Flesh, all that sort of stuff, and
Okay.
and he can. And if he can somehow work in a body ethereal, actually no, I've got magic weapons, so that doesn't matter for this case. But
Yeah. Don't need to fluff him with that.
yes, basically stack protection as much as he can.
So
If
you're
he at
thinking
some
like
point
all
gets a
4?
flame helmet, he could actually get his protection up to 40 quite comfortably.
Okay. So you're looking alt 4, maybe construction 2?
Should be doable at that point, but
Okay.
it still could be dicey. It should survive any number of white centaurs, but it might not win the battle.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I think that the big thing that he needs is a weapon that can deal with the white centaurs. Maybe like a vine shield even, but you might bust it. That's the one thing I'd be worried
Also, encumbrance and fatigue could be an issue for it.
about. Once he replaces his armor, it's fine. So just get any armor is just about better than this armor, because of the encumbrance. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on. So, oh my goodness, Gazlov, this is impressive. Do you think that this is going to end up with the same results as what we just saw?
When it comes to these little lizard bastards, it can go either way. I mean,
Yeah, the attack density is just so high.
What's dangerous for these? What's dangerous about these guys, Gazlov, that makes them so scary? It's that they seem almost like barbarians, where you don't want to recruit them, but they still are good.
Oh, I disagree with that.
They've got 2 decent attacks, and then a 20 piercing damage trident is pretty good.
Now,
A
Nosy,
couple of those hits will kill any of my guys.
you told me about a PD dump with these guys, correct?
I've had several across several games. That is excellent PD. Really
Give
good.
me a good example of a story from Nosy's annals of.
Oh, the best example I've got was playing in a game as Hinnom, where I was at war with Femoria. Managed to raid into their cap circle, noticed that there was Lizard PD there, dumped about 20-25 PD, and the PD over several turns proceeded to kill a Fomorian giant or 2 and some other thugs as well. So very well worth it.
We talked about we just beforehand we were talking about a game I was in where I was doing PD dumps against an Agarthan player and in killing some cap only troops as a result of it. Missourian, what are some good PD that you look for a PD dump?
I do try and balance it a little bit to whatever it is I'm trying to trap, but there's not a lot of options with PD, so usually it's the heavy hitting stuff. So lizards, barbarians, cav. That's pretty much going to be it, I think.
There is an argument to be made for all javelin infantry PD, like Lion Tribe, where both units from the PD have a javelin. That can be surprisingly effective depending on what you're going against.
Speaking of
but
tribe,
most of
bone
the
tribe.
time, those are your 3: lizards, barbarians, cavalry.
Yeah, Bone Tribe is a really good another one as well.
Yeah, that's all javelin infantry.
Oh, jeez, he just got
Yeah, but also
wasted.
the super hard hitting Speetum and Berserkers.
That's a really nice animation. The forward attack. It's hilarious because this whole battle is over in like 2 turns. It's
Yeah,
I mean,
they're like barbs. They're not survivable.
which side?
No, sorry. The Van Heers have a pretty good chance of surviving a shot. The lizards do not.
Like they just got I mean, 2 of them just took 1 hit and it was over because they've got, how many? So 18 hit points. Okay, so they do take a couple hits. You're right. Even with he lost an arm. Even with a 20-point attack. So really interesting. Looks about the same.
Yeah,
Let's
Van Heers have really good protection.
It's my second lizard province, so I'm looking good.
Oh yeah, that's a ton of astral.
Okay, this is not underwater, so now he has the ability to go underwater if he wants. Okay, looks boring. 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 I think we are actually done for the turn.
What's that commander doing?
Which one?
Machaca's one commander is just pinging a throne. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a
that's
throne. When I get done, I'll go. Novel, you missed last time. He sent a commander in, and instead of putting him on hold and attack, he just put him on attack. The commander went up to this single Shark Tribe Triton with a bunch of and the guy just turned around and hit him once and killed the commander. So this single guy has been the hero for the underwater indies, but his time is over.
Yeah, Shark Tribe are not easy to get rid of.
Okay, so what's that?
I'm sorry. What is with Machaca's random expansion party? That is made of a bunch of stuff I can't understand.
Oh, let's look at that real quick.
Yeah, the composition. What is that?
That is
Okay,
a
I
bunch
see furbolgs.
of-
I see foul spawn. I see like all the
Mercenaries,
tribes and war elephants.
Okay, Gazlov, give me your 2 cents on this first.
Well, I think he's just trying to get some random ranged units to go with his flaming arrows.
Okay, Missouri, you got anything on this one?
It just looks to me a bit like mercs piled together. At least at least one of those is a merc group, right?
Oh, that would explain it. Yeah, the VC, the monkey archers, and the foul spawns are mercs. I was trying to figure out how did he manage to get this composition together. I forgot that he probably picked up 2 mercs.
No, does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, that was what I thought when I saw the battle report.
Yeah, because you passed by it
Yeah,
pretty
there we go.
quickly, and I'm like, how do you have that composition? And they're like, okay, yeah, it's 2 mercs.
What's interesting, he's got a pair of mercs, he's got all of his expansion party, and he's doing nothing. This is it's a bad start location, it's a bad expand. This does not look good for Machaca, and it's only turn
Notably.
10.
Notably, he's not much, if any, smaller than Uber.
2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. It's still a 3-point swing, so it's not. I do believe that he's the weakest so far, but wait, it's easy up to 10. Arco, you're even with Machaca. So both of you guys have had less than stellar starts. That being
really
said,
In my
surprising
case,
to hear.
it's I tank my scales too much.
Okay,
So
yeah,
Wind
'cause
Riders
that's
were very slow to come out.
okay. Because I'm like, Wind Riders are great for expansion. 4 of them in a commander tends to get through most everything.
Yep, when you get them online.
okay, so the last thing I wanted to look at was viewing this battle, and we are going way over, but that's fine. Oh, not that one. This one, the Netherminds. I'm guessing he's pinging. Yeah, this is the throne. And we have circle commanders. Now, what I'm kind of curious about, okay, they're not going to go into a communion. How scary are circle commanders and sorks? These Death 1, Blood 1s, Death 2, Blood 2s. Let's go with you, Novell. What how scary is this as a province or as a throne?
Generally speaking, in the base game, it is very easy to handle if you are fighting it with something that's not purely elite. Because the worst thing that can happen is that you get swarmed down and exhausted by a horde of skeletons, and then you get hit with a big blood spell that does armor negating damage. That's the worst in base game. With magic support, as in from mods, they can become incredibly terrifying because they'll communion up and then they'll shadow blast. And shadow blast clears both armies and elites equally well. And they tend to have about 5 to 10 death gems, and there is a lot of power there, especially if they, use hell power and then start shadow blasting. So mods can make them terrifying. Standard
I would
phase,
love
but
to
not
see
very.
hell power. That would make my day. I'm still looking forward to seeing a time where we can linebacker hell power. That's my dream.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guys,
Blood
on
and
that
death.
note, I'm sorry, what was that?
I would say, yeah, blood and death are a terrifying combination.
I think on that note, we are going to end off things for this turn. Gazlob, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Missourian, thank you for hopping along with us.
Thank you.
Nosy, good to hear from you again.
Thank you.
And Novell, I really appreciate you being here, especially joining back up again after our long hiatus.
Yeah, man. Always happy to help.
Okay, guys. Well, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.